right? I just realized 343, and this is very, very, very unpopular take. Very unpopular take that I'm about to start us off with. 343 has done a good job with Halo. Now, when you consider everything, when you stop living in this bubble where everybody tells you to hate Xbox or to hate 343 or to hate Halo because it's not Bungie, you can start seeing things for what they are. So under Bungie, there was Halo 1, 2, and 3. You know, 3 is probably, I think 3 is my favorite. I know Halo 2 is a lot of people's favorite, but 3, you know, and then Reach was a surprising hit, given that it was the first one. I think the first, no, ODST was the first one to venture off from Master Chief's story, but Halo 3 was ODST was a smaller project. Reach was like a big project, full price game, and it was the first game they made not to follow, you know, Master Chief outside of ODST, and I think it was like a 91 Metacritic. And that was Bungie's last Halo. Then you got to factor in, you know, that the Xbox team, you know, after shopping around for studios that could start making Halo since Bungie was done with it, I think they were about to settle with what's this, the studio that does Brothers in Arms, man. Oh my god, I forgot the name of that studio. But they opted to make another studio to do it. Some of the people from Bungie, you know, stuck around to help launch the new studio, which they coined as 343 Industries. And they managed, because Halo Reach came out, what, 2010? So in 2 years, they built the studio and built Halo 4. And it released in 2012. And at that time, think about that time. Halo 4 was hyped, bro. Halo 4 was hyped. And it was the biggest selling game at the time. And I think what sort of shortened Halo 4's lifespan, I think, was Black Ops 2. Because that was a big hit. But when you look at what Halo was, right? Halo 4 was. The first time, I felt Halo 4's story was dope. It was dope. Halo 4 had an awesome story. Then Halo 4, for that time, had awesome graphics. It was the best I've seen Halo look. I mean, at the time, I thought Halo Reach looked good, but it still looked like Halo. Halo 4 looked... Matter of fact, you launch up... This is how well Halo 4's graphics has aged. If you boot up Halo Master Chief Collection on your Xbox One X or even your Xbox Series X, right? And look at the, remember, they didn't change anything with the graphics. They just upgraded, you know, everything's 4K now. 4K 120 FPS if you're in a Series X, or 4K 60 if you're in the One X. It looks stunning. And when you bring that back to 2012 on 360, at that point in time, I think they were like probably at 720p or something like that, but the graphics was still punching. So at the time, it was like, wow, you had a good story, you had good graphics, the campaign was pretty good, it played well. I think the only backdrop, and somebody, please correct me, because I think this was why, I know I wasn't the biggest fan of Halo Reach's multiplayer, and I somewhat wasn't the biggest fan of Halo 4's multiplayer for 2. And I think both these multiplayers had loadouts. I think that was the biggest knock against Halo 4. It had like loadouts, and we weren't used to that, right? As during that reign of Halo, it was you get dropped onto a map, and it's a race for the power weapons. You control the power weapons, you control the map, you're likely to win, right? And this time it was kind of sort of weird. You had loadouts. And you had, with the loadouts, you had different abilities you could also equip. And I might be merging the two, but I believe there were some distinctive differences from Halo 4 and Halo Reach versus the original 3 Halos. I know they both did multiplayers differently. But when you sit back in the 343, they launched the game. I think the game sold millions. At the time, it was the best selling Halo of all time. I think, and when you consider the year of 2012, it was the third best selling game of the year across all platforms, only behind Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Madden 2013, whatever, right? Which is fine. And that's back when Madden was popular. Madden is nowhere near as popular as it was then, but back when Madden was still, that's like peak Madden. And you had Call of Duty, which is, that was during the time that, and it still is, always going to be the best-selling game. It was pretty much at the beginning point of it being like the best-selling game. So you got to think about it. Outside of you had Call of Duty Black Ops #1, Madden 13 #2, and Halo 4 #3, best-selling game of 2012, right? And it was in the meta score. Sure, it was slightly lower than what we were used to for Halo. It was at like, I think, at 87, but it was still a relatively great game. So at that point, I would look at good job 343. You made a better looking game than what Bungie typically makes. I felt like your gameplay, your gunplay was awesome, and I think at that time it was running 60 FPS because the Halos prior to that was not running 60 FPS. So now you got Halo 4. Master Chief Collection was a collective effort between everyone, between 343, I think Saber Interactive. I think they added another studio that helped with the port. Rough launch, but at the end of the day, it was an ambitious project. 4 games for the price of 1 game, all remastered, and there's nothing wrong with Master Chief Collection now. It's the ultimate Halo experience. If you don't like, it's the perfect alternative to modern day Halo. If you don't like Halo Infinite, Master Chief Collection looks just as good. I mean, at least Halo 2 Anniversary and Halo 4 are the best looking in terms of that package, and they're all running at 4K high frame rates. Halo 3 obviously still there, 4K 120. Halo 1 still there, but in terms of like modern gaming, you want a nice alternative to Halo Infinite, Halo 2 Anniversary, and Halo 4 are the visual masterpieces there. But as far as like fun factor, I'm going with Halo 3, and like I said, I did have fun with Halo 4's multiplayer, but because of the launch, the way it launched, because it wasn't always perfect like it is now, that was somewhat of a downward for Halo MCC. But when you look at, if you were forward thinking, you still like, man, this is an ambitious product, right? They did a good job putting it all together, and now it's where it needs to be all these years later. The next year, because Halo MCC was 2014. The next year, they had Halo 5 Guardians. Now, to this day, just like with Halo 4, to this day, I don't know what was wrong with Halo 5 Guardians. Now, sure, if you wanted to be like, okay, well, it's not about Master Chief, they could have just dropped 5, right? They didn't need the 5, and they could have just been called Halo Guardians. It could have been like a follow-up to Halo Reach, right? Not really a follow-up to Halo, because Halo Reach wasn't a numbered Halo, but it could have been something like that because of the split gameplay. I know you spent most of your time as Locke. You played, you were always with 3 other companions, no matter who you were playing, whether you were Locke or your Master Chief. But that was more so that they can incorporate 4-player co-op. Right? They wanted everybody to be distinct, their own character with their own, ability, with their own loadout. But I feel like they did a good job on the graphics. The game still, Halo 5 to this day to me, and right now I'm a prisoner of the moment. I love Halo Infinite, but Halo 5, I spent so many years playing that game. Like, I played Halo 5, I think all the way up until freaking 2020. Sure, there were breaks and stuff, but like I played it consistently for at least a good 3 years. This is almost as long as I played like Halo 3. So your multiplayer, no problem. No issue with Halo 5's multiplayer. Loved it. It was punching maps, design, the gameplay, gunplay, the modes were fine. Even they tried out that new mode, that big Warzone mode, which was alright. But I don't know why people hate it. And then people's like, well, the marketing. Well, I tell you guys this, they did a good job marketing Halo. Matter of fact, one could probably say the best-selling first-party game for the Xbox One era, I believe, is Halo 5 Guardians. It generated so much money. They did a good job with the marketing and creating hype for the game. And the product as a video game was a good product. You had a good story. A lot of people are so emotional. There was nothing bad about Halo Guardian's story. Now, sure, did they have a couple annoying missions I didn't like? I think there was one mission where you literally walked from point A to point B and the mission was over. Okay, yeah, that was stupid. You know, that I get. But in terms of like the whole package, I didn't find anything really wrong with the game. Now, of the trio of 343's trio of games, is it my favorite? No, its multiplayer was my favorite. Multiplayer was my favorite. But as far as when I enjoyed playing through the campaign, I want to say it's Halo Infinite #1, Halo 4, and then Halo 5. And then they released Halo Infinite, right? Which, the thing about Halo Infinite, it's like it has a tale of 3 lives, right? So you have the reveal, where the gameplay reveal, where Craig is born and everybody's like, you know, shitting on Microsoft. And I think the reveal is only getting the fire it got because it was at that time supposed to be a launch title for Microsoft next generation Xbox, the Xbox Series X. So it was like, well, it's a 12 teraflop machine. We expected to see high fidelity graphics, ray tracing, you know what I mean, high frame rates and all this other stuff. And it didn't look like a full on next generation game. It just looked like Halo, right? And so I think that's where the knock came. It was more so because it was the system. If it wasn't like a launch title, or anything like that, and it didn't become like, they delayed it, of course. But so the reveal got pretty much knocked for the way it looks, right? Boom. Then we're leading up to launch. They start showing snippets. The game is looking better. Great, cool. They released the multiplayer beta. People are loving the beta. Then they released the beta early, a whole month early. People are loving the beta. Then the campaign drops, which is the launch for the full game. To this day, I love the campaign. I absolutely love Halo Infinite's campaign. Halo Infinite, did I declare Halo Infinite Halo Infinite was my 2021 Game of the Year. Yeah. Halo Infinite. Yep, Halo Infinite. The campaign was awesome. I don't care what nobody says. Like, that was an amazing campaign, and this is where I get frustrated because I want to see more. I want to fight the Banished. I want Atriox, right? But I like how they introduced the weapon. I like the the pilot, how they introduced him. And sure, they could have expanded on the ring and have different biomes, but what you did in that particular location, from the interior mission structures to the exterior mission structures, I think it was done very well. I had a good freaking time playing that game. Mind you, this is the first Halo I beaten by myself, and I beat it on like a harder difficulty too. Like, it had an awesome boss fight. They had awesome boss fights in that game. Challenging boss fights in that game. So Halo Infinite, the reviews come out, right? And it's settling around the 87, right? And then what people started to get ticked off about is that because when the full game really launched, it didn't change too much from the multiplayer beta that we got. You know, a couple of people didn't like some of the battle pass quirks, the things that you unlock. They didn't like the customization. So, and then they started delaying, you know, season pass, and then obviously we had the whole shit with like no split screen option, no co-op multiplayer wasn't there day one, and You also didn't have what's the mode where they make maps? Oh my god, Forge mode. They didn't have that day one, which was okay, but a lot of the complaints, and this is why I guess where I have a disconnect with I guess Halo fans or current multiplayer fans. I'm not a battle pass gamer. I've never I can't. That's one thing I won't transition well into today's multiplayer games. I'm not into the Fortnites. I'm not into those battle royales, those free play. I'm a person that enjoyed classic Halo multiplayer, Team Slayer or Arena Free for All, whatever, team deathmatch, whatever, capture the flag. I play a couple of those, and I'm done. I go back in and just do that. I don't chase, passes or cosmetics or anything like that. So even though I completed the season pass, I never bothered chasing anything else in the other season pass or these other seasons and stuff like that, because I don't play multiplayer games like that. I like having a rank and an icon and a number next to my name, and I like to be able to check, my profile, what I've done, my KDA, and how many matches I won, how many kills I got versus deaths. Those are still to this day more important to me than if I played and participated in some sort of an event that was limited time, or that I got some freaking flaming helmet or stuff like that. I know that's like the new wave and stuff like that, but that's the reason why Halo Infinite to me wasn't a bad experience. So a lot of the hate that people are giving Halo Infinite was like, oh, the lack of content, the lack of this. It was all multiplayer related stuff. But at the time, it's just crazy because I'm like, damn, this is one of the best multiplayer experiences I'm having. It's literally what I love about Halo, just modernized. It's like, you know what I mean? I don't care about all the extra stuff, but I go and I'll play on all the maps. They got some amazing maps, by the way, if you haven't played on Halo Infinite in a while. But nah, it's what I like. So I'm like, what makes this game bad? And why do 343? 343 is probably the only developer, and they need to stop this. I think that's what happens. I think they have to be liberal, but they gotta stop listening to the fans. They gotta stop listening to these critics, because they'll have a vision and they'll scrap it because too many of these crybabies complain about it. It's like back when Halo 5 came out, people were complaining that why you can aim down sights. It was wrong that you can finally aim down sights on Halo, because Halo was you just hit fire generally, right? But the thing is, I think Halo 343, they're balancing magicians when it comes to Halo, because for everything new they add to a gameplay mechanic, whether it's sprinting, whether it's aiming down sights, they make sure there's a counter for it. So if you aim down sight, you get shot out of it. If you sprint, well, you can't regen, because Halo, when you just regen, if you get out of dodge when you're taking fire, as long as you stay out of dodge, your health regenerates. In Halo, when you sprint and run away, you pretty much, that's disabled until you stop. It's like they're like balancing magicians when it comes to Halo games, and they don't get nearly the credit. 343 has the best looking Halo games, the best performing Halo games, and they take right chances, but the problem is they have 3 distinct games that don't sync up, because every game that they release, they listen to these rabid fanboys who don't know what they want. These gamers don't know what they want until you give it to them. You're not going to create the perfect Halo for anyone. You just got to make the game you want to make, throw it out there. They like it. If they don't, they don't. But if you let them dictate how you make games, they will never have a direction. You know what I mean? So I feel like 343 have 3 great games, right? But the thing is, they're not in sync, because they're pretty much all reactions to fan reaction to their previous games that were actually good. There's tons of developers and publishers that wish their 3 games can score an 87, 84, and the 87. Theoretically, there's no bad Halo game. There's no bad Halo game. If 343's Halos are bad, then that means majority of the games that release are just god awful. If 343 standard is, oh, if your game is not at rate as high as Bungie, because mind you, if Bungie's Halos release how they work today, I mean back then, today, they would not be 90 rated games. They would not be. They would be rated just like Destiny. 79 here and 84 there. That's what they would be, right? But the thing is, it's so unfair. And that's the thing. It's like, how do these dudes have great games, but they have to react to their great games as if they were bad? They take all this like verbal abuse, verbal assault, and they don't realize, yo, you actually made a great game, a really good game. And I think 343 don't get enough credit. Their Halos are severely underrated, and their games aren't being played by people because people live in this bottle where for some reason we're holding on to this strange opinion that Halo Infinite is bad. In Nova Universe, Halo Infinite is not a bad. In my opinion, I don't care how biased that I may be or how biased that I am, Halo Infinite is the best multiplayer current game we have right now. Sure, you got Fortnite, which is your battle royale. It's the most popular. It will always be that because they did magnificent things with it's pop culture. They involve the right characters. They got the right people on board. It's a phenomenon. I'm not taking anything away from Fortnite. I'm not a Fortnite gamer. Apex, I miss Titanfall. What else is a multiplayer game that people play? Call of Duty is Call of Duty. Actually, this is gonna sound crazy, but all 343's multiplayer games have scored better than the last, like, I think 5 or 6 Call of Duty games. If I'm not mistaken, it doesn't get the respect. It doesn't get the respect, and it's full off for no reason. 343 is not Bungie. Bungie ain't Bungie. You know what I mean? They're like, Halo is better than Destiny. Any incarnation, Halo is better than Destiny. Halo 4, 5, and Infinite is better than Destiny 1 and 2 in all its expansions. I say that with full confidence. Full confidence. But Halo, hopefully, gets that. It resurrects in the way it should. It gets its respect. It gets its due. And people should jump on it because it's a really fun game. Quality game. Quality game. The game is full of content now. No complaints. It's literally on par. Obviously, Master Chief Collection is the legacy game. And it's like I say, if you don't like the style of Halo Infinite, Master Chief Collection is the perfect alternative because it's just classic Halo. It just looks better, plays better. It has everything you want. If you missed out on Halo, if you're just coming into the Xbox ecosystem, you're not familiar with Halo, you gotta play Master Chief Collection. And Halo Infinite is now on par with Master Chief in terms of like the content, the updates, and the life they inject into it. And just, it's crazy that they don't get the respect or the credit they deserve. I think all those people that left 343 left for no damn reason. Cause stop listening to these rabid, crazy ass fans. The customer is not always right. Matter of fact, the customer is never right. That's what I believe. They're never right. They're never right. The creator is right. You create something phenomenal, and then you got to hear the burden and the big mouths and the stink breath of all these people crying and whining about what you make all the years. And the thing is, it's actually a quality product. Multiplayer games these days suck ass. I still think Gears and Halo they're just because they still have enough classic in them and enough newness in them to remain relevant. You know what I mean? So that's my take on Halo, man. You guys got to check that out. And I'm gonna take a